We're just heading back to the car from the vets with a very precious load.
I've got Arwen and Galadriel. They've just been neutered, been spayed, little pussycats. They don't seem very sleepy.
No, they don't.
They seem quite lively.
Let's get them home. We'll get you home, then you can have some food.
Yes.
They're a bit wobbly on their feet.
Apparently, due to the keyhole surgery, the kittens didn't need to have lampshades on their necks. Much less stress for them, and we don't even have to keep them inside or isolated. Although we did keep them in until the anaesthetic had worn off properly.
We're now on to the last messy job in the secret bathroom, putting in an extractor fan.
When I first found this, I thought it was a bird's nest, but it isn't. It was behind a plastic grill above the shower in the secret bathroom. It was almost certainly put there by a human, as the other side is completely rendered over. I have no idea why. I want to install an extractor fan. There is a partial hole already cored and lined with a plastic pipe, but it was covered over when the Chateau was rendered 30 years ago. The first job was to drill a hole through the wall to use as a marker, to then core a much larger hole from the other side. With that done and the weather being on our side, we built the scaffolding tower so I could reach the hole. It wasn't long before the scaffolding inspectors turned up.
Hello, pussycat. Good girl. Good girl. Go back in.
With approval granted to continue, I got to work coring the vent hole.
Quite loud without your ear defenders on.
Coring through the external render was easy. What lay beneath took longer. Much longer. It wasn't that I was trying to core through granite or a similarly hard rock. It's more that the walls are just so thick.
Is it a lovely day for coring?
Pardon?
A lovely day for coring?
Yes, it's a lovely, lovely day for coring. It's a boring job.
How far in are you?
I am about halfway up
Okay.
the core
Cool.
bit.
I hope the wall's not too thick.
Well, I don't think so.
Right.
But at some point I'm going to hit the stone that the building's made of. And so that's probably where I am at the minute. That's why it's taken its time.
Yeah.
So it went through the render very, very easily. I'll put these back on.
Cool plan.
And so the coring went on, and on, and on. Just a stone's throw away from the Chateau is a small but perfectly formed river. When the weather's nice, we love to take the dogs for a stroll along its banks and watch them splash around at the water's edge. Some of the jobs at the Chateau feel like they're taking forever, but the beauty and the tranquility of the surrounding countryside is the perfect place to unwind and relax. But ultimately the work still needs to be done. Welcome to Jane's Find of the Day with Jane.
Hello and welcome to this week's Find of the Day at Chateau de Pican. Today I'm talking about what is probably the most eccentric item that we've inherited. 3 giant toadstools. They're not quite as tall as this because they're on a pot, but they're still about 3 feet tall, and the biggest toadstool is about 18 inches across. I originally thought it was made of papier-mâché, but I have found an item that is similar, and they describe that as being made of fiberglass and plaster, and it is pretty heavy and pretty sturdy, so maybe that's right. I think it'd be hard to get papier-mâché as strong as this, certainly the stems. It's obviously handmade, not quite sure why it was made. Down at the bottom we've got sort of potpourri, forest floor, maybe the ingredients to make mulled wine, slices of orange and nuts and pine cones. And this particular toadstool, Amanita muscaria, is of perennial fascination to humans, and some animals eat it as well. Reputedly, this toadstool is the source of the myth of the flying reindeer, because reindeer like to nibble them, and that gives them flight-like hallucinogenic experiences, and they dance around. And it's famously featured in Alice in Wonderland when she's told to eat one side to go taller and the other side to go smaller. The other name for it though is fly agaric, which originates from the practice of using this toadstool as a poison in milk to kill flies. So it's toxic and it's hallucinogenic. Why it's here, I do not know, but imagine if you're having an Alice in Wonderland party. What a fantastic prop to have.
Are you okay?
Yes, I've got the first bit out, which is sort of about that deep, and the second bit is now loose, but because I'm technically through, because there was a hole on the other side of the wall already, I think they'd sort of sploshed in some adhesive or cement, so it's probably a bit of a funny shape on the other side, so it's not cut cleanly through on the other side, so I'm trying to pull it out, but it's just getting stuck in my little pinkies.
Okay.
So I might have to come round and sort of bash it from that side.
Right. It's making sort of fine, very, very fine dust, almost like smoke on the inside.
So is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, darling. Well, you take care.
I shall do.
Daylight! Hello, this is London calling. It's got funny little fingers. It was almost, although I knew it wasn't, if I remember, I thought, oh my God, there's a mouse in there.
I was trying to dust myself off. My hands were more dusty than my coat. I've just made it worse. Phew. My hole's done, so technically I'm just going to get that plastic pipe out, and then I think we're okay. I can just do the channel the wall out for the electrics.
Brilliant.
And then we're away.
Yay!
The scaffolding inspectors are back for another visit. I think everything is in order here.
Well, last week I used a long length of bamboo to unblock a clog.
Down there.
This week I'm using bamboo again, but this time I'm going to try and knock out the old bit of plastic pipe on the other side of this wall. See if I can make the hole a bit bigger without having to core drill all the way through.
She's coming.
Is it quite far out?
Yeah, it's far out. It's about 4 or 5 inches out. Ah, the hand.
A helping hand.
Helping hand is coming. Oh, how tall am I then? Hang on. Okay, drop. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Job done. It's always like 2 steps forward, 1 step back in this bathroom because we keep making a mess. We just get it looking nice and then we make another mess. The problem is it's a functional bathroom. It's our only working shower really that we're using, so we're always using it even when the guests aren't here currently. But we're also working in it, so it gets really dusty and we just want a lovely finished bathroom.
This is impressive though. This is hardcore work. So you've done brilliantly.
Well, that's not...
Close.
It's close.
Close but no cigar.
That's right.
Get a little bit of chiselling required.
Yeah. If I was... I mean, I might be able
Oh,
to
it's going.
get it in
It
like
wants
that.
to. It wants
Yeah.
to go.
There we go. So we just need to make good around here, fill in all of this.
Oh, brilliant. Hooray.
Hurrah! And channel across here.
Yeah, for the wires.
But no doubt what I'm going to find underneath the plaster is concrete. I just know that's going to happen. Well, I can't just go as deep as the plaster. I've got to go deep enough that the wires can be put into conduit. And I've got some conduit down there, but I'd rather get some thinner conduit than that for the wires. Just as thin as I can, get 3 wires in really, and run it along there. But it still will have to be deeper than the plaster. In fact, the end of the conduit really wants to be as deep as the edge of whatever that hard substance is. Cement, concrete, God knows what they've put on the wall here. But we'll find out.
The moment that perhaps none of you have been waiting for.
I think this is going to have a lot of appeal to a relatively small number of people. Quite a lot of people wouldn't give it house room. Others would think it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, the way it's been rendered is to a very high standard. All the texture, all the botanical details on the stems. This wasn't just thrown together. I mean, this was a labour of love by whoever made it. And the item that I found that is most similar to this, similar size, although that was only one toadstool, and the material, as I previously mentioned, they described it as a theatre prop from mid-20th century, which I think is probably the best guess of what it was for, why it was created. And they have no longer got this in stock because it has sold, and it's sold for £535. So if this is your thing, that's the kind of money that you'd need to buy it, or you could make your own, but to make it as well as this would take time and skill. The coving in the dressing room is now up. I've been working on it with Rory's help, and it's in position. We've had to be a little bit creative in places and not all our joints are perfect. So it's time to do some caulking. And I've never done this before. This is the magic implement, and it should allow me to fill some holes and any gaps between the coving and the wall, and generally tidy everything up before the coving's painted. So I'm really pleased with it. But there are some areas that could do with some cosmetic improvement, hence the caulking. So it really doesn't look too bad. These are the bits that have not yet been done, and these are the bits which have been done. Harder to do the lower boundary because we don't want any of the green paint to get white on it, whereas the top boundary you can be a little bit more quick because it's a white ceiling. Into the corner, spent quite a lot of time doing that. Certainly looks a lot better than it did. I think from a distance it's absolutely fine. It's going to get painted over as well. Reasonably happy with that as a first effort, although I am very slow.
Jane had wheeled out the ride-on mower for the first time this year. It isn't large enough to cope with all of our grass, and occasionally we run into problems.
Jane's stuck. I'll have to push her out.
Last year we enlisted the help of a local farmer who came by periodically to give our grass a trim. With the ride-on getting stuck in the uneven ground and the costs of man and machine mounting up, I had an idea. It was time for some tractor shopping. I took with me all the tractor knowledge I possessed. It was tractor-shaped. It was painted red. The two wheels at the back were much bigger than the ones at the front. It had an engine that made a noise and a fan. And at the back, it had some sticky out things. All in all, it looked like a tractor to me. All that was left to do was take it for a test drive. Driving in first gear and low was easy. I even had time for a nervous smile. It was when I put it into second and fast that I nearly pooed myself. Fortunately, Jane stopped filming when it got really exciting, and there is no evidence of anything embarrassing happening whatsoever.
Oh, pas trop vite.
But don't worry, both Tractor and I survived unscathed. The same can't be said for my underpants. Afterwards, I even managed to park it in the garage. And then I took some photographs of lots of things I didn't understand, like a true enthusiast.
Join us next time to find out if we buy a tractor or if the search continues. Until then, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out.